or childhood hero, you know.
Exactly. So, and there's a lot of people that found similarities between the song "Lift Me Up" and Ozzy Osbourne's "The Ultimate Sin." So, have you heard it?
I I don't really see that similarity, but I mean, whatever. Every every song, everything that that's out there is similar to something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I mean, you can pick any song from any band, and you're gonna find another band or two that has something similar. So I don't know. I don't, I'm not really that big of a. I don't really listen to Ozzy particularly, so I would be probably the wrong person to answer that question. That just wasn't my, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But but as I said, like if there are some similarities between things, I don't know, but if there is, again, every band, every song is similar to something else. It's one, it's heavy metal. There's just
Excellent.
so many ways you can go with the riffs, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Great. Well, man, Sultan, for the specialized praise, you are a modern metal band. Do you see yourself as a band that represents today's metal scene?
tell you the truth, it's like everybody have an opinion or two. To me, if I grew up in Europe, and when I'm looking at this scene, metal scene, to me, you know, I consider Slayer and all those bands are Testament, Metallic, all these bands are metal bands to me. Anthrax, even if you go into like stuff like SOD, you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
MOD, those bands have a little bit of a hardcore to their sound, but to me those are still metal bands. And then you go to the other spectrum and you look at bands like, I don't know, Scorpions,
Yes.
Wasp, Accept, all those bands, even Def Leppard. Are they a metal band? Well, in my opinion, they are. To me, metal is a very wide genre. I don't like this idea of like black metal, thrash metal, death metal, doom, all these segregations and all these little brackets that people put things in. Like, to me, it's kind of ridiculous. I like Slayer and I like Def Leppard at the same time. You know, to me, or Accept from that. Accept is one of my favorite bands of all time. So to me, everything in between is okay, and I like most of the things in between. And so for us, for Five Finger Death Punch, we can play any of those things because we all like the heavy stuff, but we like the hard rock stuff as well. So so we are what we are, and then some people are gonna say we are a heavy metal band. Some people are gonna say we are a hard rock band. I don't really care. That is the truth. Where they categorize us. To me, we just we are Five Finger Death Punch. This is how we sound. This is what we play.
Ex-
Question again?
Yes, in all your four albums, you seem to take care a lot of the production, the mixing, and the mastering process. It is a priority for the band because it seems like the production what does is soften your sound in comparison to the live sound that you have.
Mm-hmm. Well, you wanna when you making records, right?
Yes.
I guess I guess what would be the word? I mean, I guess it's expected. You know what I mean? When you're giving somebody an experience, when we're talking about a CD or talking about whatever, we're talking about the material that you're gonna hear digitally. What it doesn't matter, it's MP3 or CD or vinyl, whatever way you're gonna hear that music. The environment you're gonna listen to gives itself that you can make a nice sounding album that's fun to listen to.
Yes.
And I think that is exactly um, the reason that medium exists. That you got to hear the band polished. You know what I mean? A
Yes.
nice sounding record, there's nice production, so you got to enjoy it, and you can experiment how this band sounds like in the best possible scenario. Which is the studio when everything is figured out and everything is very precise. That's you hear it like with the best possible audio. When you go to see a live show, you know, a live show has a totally different function. The live show is not about listening. The live show is not about being an audiophile and listening to every little detail. A live show is about energy and experience. So, in my opinion, a live show has a different function. So the live show will be obviously much rougher because it's live. So it's
Yes.
not like, I'm not standing in one spot and playing guitar very precisely and concentrating on what I'm doing. I'm jumping around, running across stage. It's all about the energy. It's about the ritual of heavy metal or hard rock or whatever you call it. You know what I mean? It's the ritual and the live experience. It's about energy exchange. It's about connection to the fans. It's about creating this crazy, crazy melting pot of energy in the arena we play, right? That's
Yes.
the function. So in those circumstances, I think it has to be raw. It has to be that way. It can't be, and it shouldn't be too polished and precise because it's a different function. In my opinion, it's actually to me, but other bands may think differently, but for us, it's important that you got to experience it both ways. If you want to listen to us and you want to really experience the music and the low nuances and the low musical moments, then you have a nicely mixed and nicely sounding CD. Probably.
Yes. Well, we talk about the music and let's talk about the lyrics. There's a lot of people that really enjoys your music, but thinks that the lyrics are a bit cheesy or maybe childish. And what do you have to say about this?
Um, Basically, when it comes to lyrics, same thing here. If I was, writing, I don't know, if I was writing in a Shakespearean language, if you're writing, but with that, it's like I feel it's a little bit pretentious because nobody speaks like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, so to me, when somebody writes a lyrics, you don't say like, "and die will done." That's like almost like something that's written in a Bible or some kind of a book or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To me, if you write lyrics that you normally wouldn't say, you know, it's it's a little bit, it's almost like poetry. It's a little bit loses the real connection to me.
Yes.
So I think the lyrics have to be first and foremost real, something that you would probably say, not something make believe. Also, the themes of the lyrics. We write about everyday life. You know what I mean? Culturally relevant stuff that happens around us, things, human relations, politics, religion. Those things don't ask for a special language. This is something culturally relevant that happens now. We don't think about slaying dragons in some mountain top and whatnot. So it's just our lyrical content is different. Which again, I don't have a problem with bands that singing about slaying dragons. We just don't sing about those things. So the
Yes.
language, what we say, doesn't require that kind of language. It's about culturally relevant things, which means the language has to be kind of simpler and brute and real. That's the most important part, and real. Um, for the critics, I mean, like, have you ever opened a book of like a death metal band or any of those guys, like what they sing about? You know what I mean? It's like if you really somebody want to actually criticize the lyrics. I mean, let's talk about the rotten flesh of Christ and the shit that a lot of these bands write about. To me, that would be like, okay, I have no connection to that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's really like what's cheesy and what isn't cheesy is the it's in the perceiver. Some generally people who criticize of lyrics, actually people who listen to like the really dark, heavy sort of music. And to me, when I read those lyrics, to me that makes I don't care about slaying dragons on top of the mountain. To me, that's kind of a little bit cheesy. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's I guess it's the question of preference. If you
Mm.
want to be real, if you want to talk about things that happen today, right now, culturally relevant things, you will have to sort of use real language, that the way you would normally speak to somebody, I think.
Exactly. Well, Sultan, just to finish this interview, you were going to play with Avenged Sevenfold here in Spain. So, high hopes for the show?
Yes, but for us it's very special because the band was blowing up in America, and that's where most of our fans were. So band is in high demand, and we kept touring and touring and touring in America.
Yes.
And finally we got to the point like now we built a strong enough and loyal enough fan base that now we can leave, come to Europe, come, go to other places and stay here and spend considerably more time. When we're gonna go back home, our fans still gonna be there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So now we can really afford to start to look at the rest of the world, and finally we can come to Europe.
Yes.
And the biggest complaints that we usually get from Europe is, well, we rarely come, and when we come, we can't, we don't bring our production. In America, everybody knows we play huge shows with a lot of lights and just really visual elements,
Yes.
which we never could bring over to Europe because we were not here enough here to the band to grow. So this is basically our way of like, okay, now we're gonna play all the festivals first, then we're gonna come with Ever Sevenfold. We're gonna finally first ever, we're gonna play in Spain. We're gonna play in a lot of European countries we haven't never been or never played a show, and we're gonna play in proper bigger places, arenas. So a lot of people will get to see what we do. So that's
Yes.
the obvious next step. That's what we had to do, in Europe, and it's all leading up to the ultimate goal, which our ultimate goal is to enough people see us and connect to the band, so we can come back possibly very early 2014, February, maybe March, and do a proper headlining tour when we would come headline, and we could bring our live show and all the things that we do in America. Except for that, as I said, we have to build it up first, and we have to, I guess, convince the promoters or have them see us connecting to the crowd. Right
Yes.
now, for example, take Spain. We don't know how many fans we have there. We never been there. We don't know if people are aware of us or not. We just simply don't know. So it's gonna be sort of the first run there, and we're gonna see that if the demand is there, if the fans are there and they want us to come, then we will come.
Yeah, that's great. So hope everybody goes to the show here in Madrid then.
Yeah. I mean that's the side of this world that the fans don't see.
Exactly.
Because what happens, when I grew up in Europe, so I never understood before because before the band got big, and now I'm on the other side of the fence. But when I was here, I was looking at these bands, and we were big fans of a lot of big bands, a lot of bands from America that maybe weren't even that big. And I knew if they would come to my country, I grew up in Hungary, we would have all gone to see them. But
Yes.
those bands never came because those bands never knew that we, the fans, were there for them.
Exactly.
So now I'm on the other side of this fence. Now I can see why and how it happens. If you have a promoter who will put up the show, right? Let's
Yes.
say in Spain, right? This promoter not necessarily talking to the fans. This promoter is not necessarily aware that we may have a lot of fans in Spain. We don't know. So he's not gonna be brave, and he's not gonna risk it and let's say book the band in a big place.
Yes.
Because he doesn't talk to the fans, and he doesn't know that we may have enough fans to easily fill that big place. But since he never been there, he doesn't know. He's not going to risk it. So what's going to happen? He's not going to invite the band to come to certain
Yes.
countries. So that's how it really happens. You know, it's the promoters and the people who put up the shows are not necessarily aware of how